Witchlings, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your local chaotic witcher, and today it's my deck collection video. I have a lot of tarot decks. I also got a haircut. The goal is, it's gonna grow more into a wolf cut, and I got two little flurries out here. You know what I mean? So today we're tackling the deck collection. People have wanted this video for a while. This is probably going to be at least a 30-minute video. And I'm gonna try to tackle not only all of these, but the differences between Oracle and Tarot as I'm sharing it. So I actually need to separate these by Oracle and Tarot first. I think these are all Tarot. So as I go through this, I am going to talk about the differences between each of these decks and which ones I would consider to be beginner friendly. And what I mean by beginner friendly is that a beginner can pick it up with little to no knowledge of anything past what the Rider-Waite structure is, and they'll be able to understand the deck. There's no changes to the suits, there's no changes to the court cards, and the art is similar to or straightforward to the Rider-Waite structure. Which isn't to say that a beginner can't pick up a tarot deck that I don't think is beginner friendly. It's just kind of a marker for this deck changes a lot from the Rider-Waite structure, and maybe I still have trouble with it because there are a few decks that I still have trouble with and have to actually look at what symbol means what, and anyways. So we're gonna start off, I think we're gonna go oldest decks to newest decks. So one of my oldest decks by far is the Antique Anatomy Tarot. This is a deck that is tried and true to me. I have a lot of good experiences with it and I love it. I really haven't had any issues with the Antique Anatomy. It's pretty straightforward. It does change the names of the suit cards. So for example, the wands are rods, the pentacles are coins, which is very typical in certain tarot decks. The cups, I believe, are elixirs. Yes, the elixirs. And we have one more. Swords. I think staves? Bronze? No. What are the swords? Blades. So it's not so different that you are unable to fully know. You'll be able to infer that the blades are the swords, the elixirs are the cups, the coins are the pentacles, and the rods are the wands. But if you don't feel comfortable with less interpretation and less art, I would not go with this deck. I love this deck because it has a vintage skeletal feel to it, which I don't know if that makes sense. It features a lot of flowers, a lot of skulls, and a lot of pentacles and coins. I really like it. The only kind of hint and interpretation you get, so if you haven't memorized the cards, the hint of interpretation you get is on the elixirs. There are things like, this is, for example, the 8 of elixirs. It says, let go, potion, soul journey, aura cleanse, wake up, potion, the void, despair, which kind of gives you hints to what the 8 of cups or elixirs is about. But that is really all you kind of get. The blades do not have that, the rods do not have that, and the coins do not have that. So the elixirs are really the only one that tells you what that means. All the major Arcana cards do have similarities to their original Rider-Waite structure. Let me see if I can find another. So we have Judgment, which is very similar. It has Judgment in there and it says the name of the card on it, and Wheel of Fortune. Two major Arcana examples that have very similar structures to the Rider-Waite, and also every single card says what card it is on it. So if it's the 6 of elixirs, it says the 6 of elixirs, which certain decks do not do. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a deck that doesn't tell you. So you have kind of a understanding of the differences between this deck and another one. I really love this deck. I don't use it as much as I should. Doesn't have a case for it. And then we have a lot of decks. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
18. 18 decks. Anyways, scooting right along. So next up I'm picking up, oh, this does have the names of it on it. This is the Orbita deck. I love this deck. I originally got it as a devotional deck to Hades or Pluton. I haven't actually set up his altar yet in the new house, but this one says wands. It says all of the names on it. So it has the Emperor, it has, this is for example, Queen of Swords, etc. I have several decks from this creator. Several actually. I think I have 4, which I love. I love their decks. So this one is kind of space vibe. If you're interested in that, it's got some amazing orange edges, which is a big thing for me. It comes with a little guidebook that has poetry on it, which is the same with the other decks that I know of and have from them, which I'm going to go through. So at Orbita, I believe it's Leela and Olive. Leela and Olive is the name. I'm making sure. Yeah, it's Leela and Olive. They've done Pythia, Botanica Oracle, Ophidia Rosa, the Maiden Oracle, and Ad Orbita. So this is just one of the decks they've done. And although all of these decks are different art, the art kind of has a theme. That's the only way I can explain it, is it's the same kind of vibe. I'm gonna go next to the Ophidia Rosa, so you can see again what this means. Once again, has a little guidebook with poetry for each card. It also says what each card is. So 5 of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, 7 of Cups. I really like this one because it has kind of a focus on nature. Nature. Also has that nice kind of orange edge to it. I really do love Leela and Olive. The art is gonna be kind of same kind of vibe. It's less interpretive than I think the Rider-Waite, where Rider-Waite symbolism is once you know it, you can recognize it other places. This one is more abstract and I love it for that reason. This is great for spiritual messages. I absolutely love pulling cards and going with my intuition for what the artistry means. The Knight of Pentacles is one of my favorites. It's got a fern and a mushroom on it. But I love Leela and Olive. Here's another example. Queen of Wands. This is the vibe I would give the Ophidia Rosa is kind of like lots of snakes, lots of flowers, lots of nature. So while the Ad Orbita is more focused on planetary space, this is more focused on nature, plants, and things associated with nature, like snakes. Now we're getting into the last bit. The last 2 from Leela and Olive. They're the 2 Pythia Botanica Oracles. I have the original and volume 2. So I'll just show you the structure. These are some of my favorite oracles. They do come with little booklets, and all the booklets have poetry in them. So here are some cards. Every single one is a plant with an explanation. I use these for deity confirmation readings and for personal readings. With both decks, the volume 1 and volume 2, you literally have so many plants in here. Everything from tomato, which is something that you don't see a lot in metaphysical kind of spaces, to pincushion, protea, barley, all the way to like laurel and henbane and other kind of more metaphysical heavy plants. So I love the fact that both of these work to create a very large expanse of plants that you can connect with and work with. And these are 2 of my favorite oracle decks. I use them so much for myself, for other people. I go all in with that. We're moving on from Leela and Olive. The next one is, because I also have 2 from this artist. Now we're going to be talking about the Embroidered series, which is the Embroidered Tarot, the Embroidered First Tarot by Alicia May Vemakukas. I can't say that. So it's just the Embroidered Forest series. So we have the Embroidered Forest Tarot and then the Embroidered Graveyard, which is the Oracle deck, which is what I'm going to start with. Another one that I love, it is made for spirit communication. We got some lovely edges. And there are cards in here that range from things you need to archetypes. So for example, we have a card like the Witch to a card like the Sister. And from there, we have things like Overcome. We also have Release Tears, etc., etc. So I love this deck because I love the embroidered imagery on it. I love using it to talk to spiritual guides or just for an oracle reading. Let's see what the cards have in store for you. Sanctuary. This card always reminds me of Diana. There are also goddess cards in here. Yeah, and then there's examples like Letters to Death, Dance. It's also one of the most beautiful decks I own. Hand embroidered. Amazing. It comes with a thick ass guidebook that I use all the time, like a hardback guidebook, which is so unheard of in deck spaces, but I love it. Next we have the Embroidered Forest Tarot, which was the first one I got, that also comes with a little guidebook. And all of these are, you know, pentacles, cups, and it says the name of the card on it. All of these I love for the embroidered imagery. It also has holographic edges and holographic detailing on the cards. I would consider the Embroidered Forest Tarot to be beginner friendly, and it's one of my favorite decks. I would consider the Embroidered Graveyard, since it comes with a very big guidebook, to also be beginner friendly. Love that for everyone. What's next? We're getting into, I was gonna go oldest to youngest, but now we're just hopping around like no one's business. I have two decks here that I constantly confuse with each other, and then they're not made by the same artist at all. And that is the Line Defined Tarot and the Flux Arcana, made by Michael Ulrich. So this is the Line Defined. It, I believe, pulls inspiration from the Hermetic Tarot. I'm not sure. I like the line work imagery on it. It's black and white for me, keeps it really simple, says what card it is on the card. It comes with some lovely gold edging and, you know, a box that for me is incredibly broken because I use it so much. I love it. I do think this one's beginner friendly. I originally got the Line Defined because it had biblically accurate angel vibes, and that's based off the Wheel of Fortune. Here. Very much biblically accurate angel vibes. So the one that I confuse it with is the Flux Arcana, which they are not the same deck. They're not even by the same artist, but they're both kind of like black and white line heavy. I like both of them. This one has more skulls in it and kind of red detailing. Michael Ulrich is great. I love his work and I love his art, which is why I love this tarot deck. I typically confuse these two. They both have, they're not even like similar looking. One has red detailing, this one has gold foil detailing, but because they're both very line heavy, I tend to confuse them. I would consider both of these decks to be beginner friendly because it says what the decks are or what the cards are on it. Now we're getting into, I'll just go with this one. This is the Darkwood Tarot. This is one that I really like. It came with a guidebook. I believe the creator of this deck also wrote a book called Mastering Tarot. This kind of deck is how I would say, it's like a gothic vibe deck. I really like the art. I like the style of the art. It is not line heavy. It's more like every single one is a full-blown piece, which I think is amazing. All of these also say the name of the card on them, which I love. So you can go through and you see Judgment, you see King of Swords, you see Page of Swords. I really like the artistic depictions in this deck. And if you're looking for kind of a gothic vibe, this is the deck for you. There is like literally, I think the Judgment card is a vampire sucking the blood of someone. Yeah, sapphic vampires on the Judgment card. Which I love. I'm here for it. Gives me amazing vibes. I don't use the Darkwood Tarot as much as I would like. And I think that's just because I tend to grab whatever's on top of my tarot stack when I'm going through it. I just grab the top of it, which whatever's at the top is typically the one I use last, so I just end up using the same one every single time. This is another deck that I love and don't use enough, which is Tarot of the Divine by Yoshi Yoshitani. Tarot of the Divine is an amazing deck because it interprets mythological stories for each card. And there are so many different like mythologies or folklore within this. Tarot of the Divine really is the best name for it. It is all about divinity. Some of these are folk stories, some of these are divine beings. We have Gilgamesh and Enkidu. We have, I believe this is the Little Mermaid. And really stories from all over the world. We got Cinderella, the fairy godmother as the magician. Fairy tales, divine stories. There's Coyote on the Seven of Swords. We have the story of Set and Osiris and Horus on the Five of Swords. We have Janus on the Two of Swords. It's like the most amazing deck, and you can tell so much love and research and work went into it, and that is why I love it so much. Tarot of the Divine is great if you want to start learning more about mythologies, folklore, and stories from all different cultures, because you can pull a card and then research it. Which I love. It's so exciting. So I really think the Tarot of the Divine is one of my favorite decks. It is 100% beginner friendly, and I really would advise you to get this. This is one of those decks that I just think everyone should have a copy of. It's beautiful artwork. It's amazing. It's very queer. It's so inclusive and diverse. Another deck I think everyone should have is the Brady Tarot. This is one that I saved up a lot of money for. This is a deck that is described as Animals and Plants of North America by M.E. Brady. It is a suit of 79 hand-colored vinyl cuts created over 18 months between 2017 and 2018. The bulk of the work was done in Denver, Colorado. They carved each image by hand, printed the carved blocks into paper, and hand-colored those prints with gouache. The major arcana was created first, followed by the minor. To keep the project spontaneous, they used rolled dice to determine which images they would carve next. They found this method had a very similar voice to the tarot. The cards they rolled were often relevant to what was going on in my life, and I would frequently roll the card I was thinking about. This deck is a testimony to biodiversity and a call to protect it. It is an invitation to view the brutal and beautiful aspects of reality with equal enthusiasm. It is a tribute to the people who care for and learn from the land of Turtle Island. It says North America, but I'm saying Turtle Island. And it is an attempt to honor the lesson stories they passed on for millennia. It is a reminder to listen and trust in the process. I do believe that when I purchased this, there were donations going to an indigenous tribe. And I believe that a certain amount of proceeds from this deck do go to an indigenous tribe, but I will double check that. So in this deck, this is one of the ones where the suits are different. So the wands become feathers, the cups become horns, the swords become arrows, and the coins become roots. The borders of each deck are different depending on the suit, which is like insane. So the wands have red triangles on the border, and the use of feathers by many Native American people can be somewhat analogous to wands in European traditions. Cups have blue waves in their borders, swords have white lines in their borders, and coins have ochre hills. There's just so much care and love put into this deck and so much respect, and that is more so even extenuated by the donating to indigenous tribes as people buy this deck, which is great. The only downside to this is it's not made by an indigenous artist. I'm gonna double check it right now. Portions of deck proceeds are donated to Indigenous Environmental Network, Earth Justice, and the Lakota Way Healing Center. So whenever someone buys a deck, money is going to Indigenous-led organizations to protect the environment, and I love that. It is by far one of the most beautiful decks that I own. And I think because of that just how much work, respect, and love and how beautiful it is, these are all reasons why I feel so pulled to it. I think that a lot of the things in here are things we can learn. There's a lot of wonderful imagery, including scrub jays, that definitely is like beautiful and brutal are the two words for it. That is how I would describe this deck. And some lovely gold edging around it, and the backs are amazing. I don't use this deck as much as I should, but I find that the art is so well done that I interpret it in whole new ways. Instead of having the names of the cards, it gives you the number, and then it gives you a word to describe the card. So for example, 7 of Cups is breach, 2 of Wands is success, the Tower, we have wealth for the 10 of roots or the 10 of pentacles, fulfillment for the 9 of cups or the 9 of horns, apathy for the 4 of horns or the 4 of cups, and passage for the 6 of arrows. It helps me, I honestly think that it'll help you if you don't know tarot that well. And it also comes with a lovely guidebook. So this deck is 100% beginner friendly. And if you've been looking for a deck that really is just beautiful and you can use for like anything, that's the deck for you. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. This is one of my other favorite decks. This is the Little Wisdoms Tarot. I use this for a lot of my spirit guide message readings on my website. This was made by my friend Liv Nelson. I did contribute and help decide some of the cards, so maybe I'm biased. I believe the Little Wisdoms does have a separate guidebook that is around somewhere, but all of this has to do, every single card are bugs for the major arcana. I did some promotion for this as well, and I did a giveaway with the deck, some decks that Liv sent me. I love this deck personally. It's got holographic backing and holographic edges. It says the name of the card on it. So it says King of Swords, Knight of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, etc. And if you are like me and sometimes even you have like the 8 of Cups, but you can also count the cups if you need. Because it does show very much, not necessarily in tradition with the Rider-Waite, but in tradition with a lot of other decks I've seen, it has the amount and the suit on the card itself, which I really love. So this is, and that's of course not for the court cards. All the court cards, like the major arcana, have insects on them, which I think are amazing. This is one of my go-to decks. I just love the art. I love the color blue it is. I love how beautiful. I just, absolutely in love with it. And I use this, like I said, for most, if not all of my spirit guide message readings. Definitely get the Little Wisdoms Tarot if you're interested. I believe Liv is going to do more decks, although I'm not sure when, but I would like to do a deck with Liv. Now we're getting into some Oracle decks because I'm doing a lot of tarot. I have 3 Oracle decks left. This is the Untamed Spirit Animal Oracle, Wisdom from the Wild Within. This is one that was sent to me and I really like it. It is really beautiful. This is just the guidebook, and then when you get the tarot deck open, comes in like a nice little paper, little like foldy thing, and you pull it out. This is another deck where it is black and white and there really is emphasis on line work in the illustrations. Every single card has the name of the animal at the top. So this is gray heron, and then you have on the bottom kind of keywords: introspection, patience. The koala has family and stability. I think this is a great deck if you work with spirits, if you love animals, to really be able to pull a card and say, what do I need right now? And you pulled B, which is responsibility and dedication. And then you could just go off of this, or you could pull out the guidebook, which is also really beautiful, and read more about it, what it means, how to implement it in your life. I think I wouldn't necessarily sit here and say this is a deck to figure out what animal to work with, because a lot of these animals are like narwhal. Have you ever interacted with a narwhal before? But there's the sea, there's a lot of birds, there's land, and I believe that the deck is divided like that. But it is a really great oracle deck if you really like learning from animals or animal spirits, because you can learn from these little animal spirits in here. I'm not saying work with them, by the way. I'm just saying you can use this deck to learn what that spirit represents. Now we're moving to tarot. This is a gift. This was a gift from one of my old neighbors, and it's one of my most used decks, and it is the Dali Tarot. I would not consider this deck to be beginner friendly for a few reasons. One, you gotta count. You have to count the amount. So if you pull this swords card, you know it's a swords card, but you don't know how many it is because it doesn't say how many swords there are, what card it is. And the same way, all the minor arcana cards are like that. They do not actually say the name of the card. The depictions are similar to the Rider-Waite, but not sure why Diana was put on the Seven of Swords. Doing my big Diana dirty. But it's all made with Salvador Dali's artwork. Since this was a gift, I have found myself using it more and more. I have seen plenty of information about how, like, you know, Dali's not a great person, but because it was a gift and because I love the person who gave it to me, I use it. It's also beautiful, and it is a deck that I really bonded with right off the bat, and because of that, I will continue to use it. If you're not comfortable using tarot based off of Salvador Dali, that is completely okay. I'm not going to sit here and judge you, that's fine. Now we're moving into the last three. This is one of my most used decks. It is an oracle deck, and it is the Woodland Wardens Oracle. It is published by my publisher in the US, which is Andrew McNeil's. It is gorgeous. It has so many different animal and plant allies in it, including ones that I really love, like the crow and the dogwood. Every single card gives you the artwork, what is on it. So this is the Martin and the Foxglove, and then a keyword, which is mischief. It also comes with a guidebook that allows you to read more about what this means when it's upright and reversed, and why these are put together and why the keyword is there. This is one of my favorite oracles. It is so just grounding, and it is so beneficial for so many different types of readings. I use this a lot for my 3-card oracles. I use this to define herbal allies in my deity confirmation readings. It has a lot of different plants and a lot of different animals, and I love all of them. My camera's gonna die, so we gotta move quick. This is another one of the tarot decks that I got that I really love. It is the Botanica by Kevin J. Stanton. This is one of my decks that I really don't think is beginner friendly, because sometimes I still struggle with knowing which card is which. I usually use this for identifying herbal allies and deity confirmation readings, but I also like reading about the cards. I would say I don't use it as much on myself. I typically use it for tarot readings for other people. Woo! So it does not say which card it is on it. It says it gives you symbols. So for example, I think this is the King of Pentacles. It has a K and then it has like a pentacle symbol. And then all of the major arcana have their own symbols, but if you don't recognize what that means, you have to look it up. And so with the minor arcana, it's easier because you can kind of tell what a cup is versus what a sword is versus what a pentacle and a wand is. Although I actually think I even get the wands confused with the swords. I can't even find the wands, but I definitely get them confused. But the major arcana just have symbols that were made up that kind of represent it. And some of them are really easy. Like this card is the moon. This card is the Hierophant. It has a cross on it, so you can kind of get it. And then some are really hard to recognize and you have to look it up. For example, this symbol, I don't know what that is. This is either the Empress or the Star. Actually, I don't think it's either, no. I think this may be the Empress, and then there's Justice. So I've been using this deck for a while. So it's a little easier for me to figure out which card is which. But very genuinely, it is so difficult to read. It is not beginner friendly at all. And it does come with a booklet, so if you really want to dedicate yourself to this deck, because I really have dedicated myself to this deck, I really use it for a lot of readings because the interpretations are so good and so awesome for connecting with plants and kind of history. And there's a lot of work went into this. Every single card has a plant that the creator has connected to the card itself and the card's meaning. So it is a wonderfully made deck. It's clear a lot of work went into it and I love using it, but at the same time, it's difficult to read. But don't let me saying that stop you from getting it, because I really do think it is worth it. I think it's a great deck. This is my last deck. This was one of the first Oracle decks I ever got, and that is the Nocturna Oracle. This Oracle is only used on myself. It is not used for any readings because I have such a connection to it and I really only consult it when I really need it. It is one of the most beautiful decks I've ever seen. It is like painted. Every single card is a nocturnal creature, animal, or thing. So we have a geode, a pitcher plant, a coral snake, the night sky, fireflies. It is gorgeous. It is so well loved. It is so loved by me. And it is one of those decks that really helps me confront whatever is going on in my head that I can't reach. It is one of the only decks that I haven't had issues like when you read for someone else and you have the definitions at the top of your head and you interpret it perfectly, and then you read for yourself and you miss it because you are trying to avoid something. I've never had that issue with this deck. Also comes with a guidebook. Love the guidebook. But overall, this is my baby. I do not use it for anyone but myself. I do not let that happen. I don't do it oracle readings. I don't do paid readings. I don't use this for friends. This is my deck that is for me and me only. And I love it. It's got this lovely blue moon on the back, some gold foil. One of my favorite cards here is Orbita Tarot. It genuinely looks like it was oil painted and then put onto cards. Or not oil, yeah, oil painted, or I don't know enough about paint, but it is so beautiful. This is another one of my favorite cards. It's this luck. The meanings are so well thought out. I don't actually know if the creator of this deck has done any projects since. It's by Megan Learwedden. I haven't looked into them or seen much about them. I got this deck in like 2018. I've had it for ages. It is the oldest deck I have had that has stuck around. It's between 2018 and 2020, and I just kept it with me the whole time. It's been through a lot with me. But that is all my decks. I definitely have more that are in storage and I don't use as frequently, but these are the ones that I try to keep in circulation for my tarot readings and for my readings by myself. I will link all of them down below. I definitely have some new decks, more decks coming that you will be able to see on Instagram, maybe in a YouTube video, or on TikTok. I'll be doing some promotion and some stuff with it, and I'm really excited for you guys to see them. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this long-ass video of me showing off tarot decks. Remember to drink water and have an amazing rest of your day. Siate Benedicti.